Welcome to the podcast series where we are interviewing home service entrepreneurs to find out what got them started, what works for them, and so that we can all learn in the process. And my name is Alistair, and I'm here with Kyle Wood of Sno-King. So, to Sno-King Quality Cleaning, which he's described to me as Snow and King are the counties in which he lives in, near he lives. So, let's get started by asking a few quick hit questions. Firstly, what kind of services do you offer?
Yeah, we do residential and commercial cleaning. So we do carpet, upholstery, tile, area rugs, uh, dryer vents, air ducts, and hardwood cleaning. So that includes on-site, and then also we have a area rug cleaning shop where we bring high-end rugs and things like that back to.
Okay. And how long have you guys been in business?
So we've been in business as a company since 2009. I've owned the company since 2012. So actually, a friend of mine started it. A few years after he started it, I was thinking of starting something in the cleaning industry and went to him for advice and suggestions. And he was like, "Well, what if you just join me instead?" So that made a lot of sense, and ended up buying him out in 2015. So I've solely owned it since then.
Okay. How many employees do you have?
We've got four right now. So we have an administrative assistant that does, the our scheduling and things like that, and then we've got three full-time technicians.
Cool. What's your most profitable service?
Most profitable percentage-wise would be dryer vents, because there's very little involved with cleaning a dryer vent in terms of like material. You're not using up any, chemicals or anything like that. Most profitable in terms of the revenue that it produces would definitely be our water mitigation. I didn't mention that in our list, but we do water mitigation work. So a lot of times, I mean, we're in the greater Seattle area, so it rains like, I don't know, 364 days a year, it seems like. So we get a lot of that.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, we're excited to have you. We're excited to learn about your business and about what you have going on. I think it's important to connect with entrepreneurs, home service entrepreneurs in particular. And with this platform, we can do that and we can all learn from each other in the process. So thank you for being on. So tell me about how you got started. How did you get into the business?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much just after I had that meeting with my friend, his name's Ryan, and he kind of proposed the idea of working together versus having to start from the very ground up. It was definitely a small company. It was just him. It was a part-time thing for him at the time, but still was able to kind of skip that initial hurdle in a sense, which was kind of nice. Looking back, it's like, well, probably would be valuable to have that experience, for the future, but I've been able to experience, growing it from being a part-time thing for one person all the way to, where we are right now and trying to grow further. So, just basically involved going out on a job site with him, kind of checking out what the work was like. Because that was part of the thing too, is I had zero experience in this industry. So a lot of people that start a carpet cleaning business are people that have been a technician and then thought, "Hey, I think I could run the business." But I came in not knowing anything about anything, so it was definitely a big learning curve.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? If you can skip that whole, the initial, funk or the initial challenges by leaning on someone else's experience, well, by all means, right? I mean, that's kind of a,
Yeah,
a bonus. So,
yeah,
would
absolutely.
you consider yourself more of like a business person, as far as like, understanding the business side of things?
Yeah, I mean, that was my idea was, I'm far more interested in the business side of things than say the technical work in the field, side of things. I'm on jobs, every now and then still. And actually, sometimes I just really enjoy going out in the field and, working a job, partially because of the satisfaction of getting something clean. I mean, people watch those videos of rugs getting
Yeah.
cleaned and all that kind of stuff, and there is something very satisfying about it. um, but yeah, I mean, the business side, like while owning this business, not too long after buying into the business, I started going to school for business management. Didn't end up finishing just because the business got so busy. Basically met with my advisor and he was like, hey, if you don't have time to do your homework and get to class and stuff, then just leave and keep doing your thing. And so that's what I've been doing since.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you can learn from books or you can learn from the school of hard knocks, right?
Mhm. Right. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it was like it was definitely helpful, to get some fun, foundational knowledge and things like that. But I mean, the pace of learning on the job is much faster, for
Yeah.
sure. Because when you learn a lot when you fail at something. So just trying things out and continually tweaking things and experimenting and all that is a great way to learn.
Yeah. You mentioned about those satisfying rug cleaning, satisfying cleaning videos.
Mhm.
How has your content game been, and has it been a big part of your company strategy?
That's interesting actually that you asked because I'm sitting here looking in my shop right now at a rug that we have that's really, really dirty that we're about to shoot a video of cleaning. We haven't done a lot of content marketing, which is, a huge area that we want to improve in. So that's a big focus for us this year. Is not just those, but also like educational videos about why you should have certain things cleaned at certain intervals, or how to treat stains that you have in your house by yourself without having to hire a professional. So a lot of things like that. We're trying to take more of the consultant approach to where people can learn from us and not just hear here's why you should hire us,
Mhm.
with that content.
One thing I've noticed about carpet cleaning in particular, I mean, the carpet cleaning videos tend to go, do really well, especially if you
Hmm.
get like the really, really nasty apartments. And when I
Hmm.
look for carpet cleaning videos on YouTube, the ones that do the best out of all of them are the rug cleaning ones. Have you seen that?
Hmm.
Have you noticed that? Like if you sort by
Definitely.
like the most popular videos, you're gonna see like the rug cleaning ones at the very, very top.
Hmm.
So I think you have
Yeah.
some real potential there.
Yeah. Well, and I've, honestly kind of been out of the loop. I didn't even know what the ASMR stuff was until like
Yeah.
within the last 6 months. And so, what I've, learned about is how a lot of people will watch those rug cleaning videos to like fall asleep to them, or,
Relax.
different
Yeah.
things like that, which is, yeah, really interesting because you start watching it, it just kind of sucks you in.
Yeah, definitely. Something about I think maybe it gives you a little bit of a dopamine release because you're like, okay, I know I need to clean, but maybe if I watch someone else clean, it makes me feel better about my bad house.
Right, right.
So, there's that whole part where you are showing people, and providing value to people. And then at some point you need to convert that into actual uh, paying customers. Right? Because, at some point, that's really what we're here to do is to help people through our services. Have you thought
Mhm.
about, how that strategy is gonna play out?
Yeah. I really don't know yet, to be totally honest. It's
Sure.
it's one of those things where like you're talking about these rug videos. I mean, it's pretty wild. Some of these videos will have, 10 million views on them.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, okay, obviously, 99% of those people are not within the service area of that rug cleaning company. So
Mhm.
it may not generate into direct revenue. Um, but funny enough, I've heard of a couple of those companies that have started getting rugs shipped to them to clean and ship back to another state or what have you.
Definitely.
And so maybe it opens up revenue, avenues in terms of getting, once you get to a certain amount of followers and views and things on social media, YouTube, excuse me, all that. Um, but what we're trying for now is just, as far as our immediate local customers that we can actually service, really focusing the content, on the educational stuff, how to get spots out by yourself, when to clean what, type of item or things like that.
Yeah, I think there's 2 potential values or 2 potential, avenues there. One is you're providing value. And
Hmm.
you're providing value to your target audience, and once they go to you as their source of value, well then, they're going to be trusting you more. And the second
Hmm.
thing really is that trust. So the more that they are familiar with you, the more they're going to trust you. And when they do decide to do their own services, well then they are going to call you. And for example, if there's a YouTube video or you have a YouTube channel where this person is constantly showing rug cleanings and they have millions of views and followers, well, then that shows legitimacy and, mastery in their craft.
Mhm.
And even if you don't have, millions of followers or whatever, if you have a place where the customers can go to look at your work, that's going to speak volumes. And over time, you can build a relationship with those clients. And I think that's why it's really, really important to continue to push content out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of just that old saying, like the proof is in the pudding kind of idea is like, with our work with carpet cleaning, rug cleaning, upholstery, things like that, it's, the customer can watch you do it and see, okay, there's a huge difference here. Where it
Hmm.
gets a little bit interesting for us is when you go into air duct cleaning, like nobody's opening up their air ducts and checking out how much debris is in there and all that. So that's more
Hmm.
of a service where we can, we take videos. We have a camera that we run down the ducts and everything to take videos and pictures. And so we kind of use, that education wise for the customer to say, okay, when we're at your home cleaning your air ducts, here's what's actually coming out of there. Um, so it's kind of also a service dependent thing for us to be able
Yeah.
to say, okay, what does the customer really want to see?
Yeah. Talk to me about the air duct cleaning because I heard somebody in the Facebook group say that if you're only doing carpet cleaning, you're probably just a part-timer, especially in the
Mhm.
first few years. And you seem to have a wide variety of services, and especially you mentioned that the air duct cleaning is one of the more profitable services that you have. So talk to me about the air duct cleaning. How did you get into it, and what method do you guys use?
Yeah, I mean, we got into it just because it related so well to, we have this saying here where we say we clean for health first and appearance second. So,
Mm,
carpet is basically a big filter in your house. So you want to clean that out to improve the air quality in your home. Same thing with the air ducts. You want to clean those out to improve air quality. So it went hand in hand in that sense. I actually funny, I mean, I guess a lot of things go this way in business. I thought it was going to be a lot easier than it actually was. We went into it, and I was told, well, you've already got the equipment for carpet cleaning. You can get these add-ons and do air duct cleaning. And as we researched, we decided to go with what's called negative air.
right.
So it's where we hook up a big vacuum, to the furnace itself. We've got a big truck mounted compressor in the van, and we use that compressed air to blow all the debris through the system back down to our vacuum.
Mm.
um, and that's what we've found to be the most effective method wise. But it's been really really beneficial in terms of the strategy of it accomplishing a similar goal just with a different part of the building.
Yeah. So I heard that there's really only three things that you can sell in this world. That there's health, there's wealth, and then relationships. And
Hmm.
most likely, everything we're trying to sell is going to fall under one of those three categories. And some people get confused that carpet cleaning, they're selling cleaning service. Well, they're actually selling a health-based service because we're talking about your mental health, we're talking about your physical health, how you feel inside of your home. And
Hmm.
people don't play that up enough, I think. And I think that's really
Hmm.
smart and good on your part that you are playing up the health side because that's really what it's about. And you're
Hmm.
finding services that complement that endeavor
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
And how do you find that work that into your marketing? Like how do you work that into your messaging that people know that you are actually improving their health? How do
Hmm.
you communicate that to customers?
Yeah, it is there. It's a little bit tricky in terms of anything having to do with health or things like that, like what we can and can't claim and what's crossing the line and things like that. But a big one actually is a video we just shot the other day that we're going to use, that we're going to put out soon, which is education about why to get your rugs cleaned the way we clean them whenever you have pet urine issues. And without sitting here wasting everybody's time talking about pee for 10 minutes, the short version is basically that when a pet urinates, it leaves behind these crystals that aren't water soluble. And so you have to make sure you use the proper chemistry to break those down and flush them out. And so we were using a rug that we had in our shop as an example of how um, even the dried urine will pull moisture out of the air to feed itself and
Mm,
continue to stay ever so slightly wet, and why it has to be treated a certain way and all that. And so that's something to kind of show people like, well, yeah, well, you could get your carpet cleaned over and over and over and over and over, but if it's not treated with the right product, you're going to be leaving bacteria behind. Your kids are going to be crawling on it. Your pets are crawling on it. So a lot of it is about that. Is kids and pets are a big, focal point for us. A lot of people have us clean when they're expecting a new baby, or stuff like that, because it's like, well, the baby's going to be crawling around. We got to make sure all the bacteria is
yeah.
out of here.
So tell me how you sell this duct cleaning and dryer vent cleaning as well. I take it that you
Mhm.
guys do. Yeah.
Right.
How do you sell it? How do you price it?
Yeah, I mean the pricing is fairly straightforward when it comes to duct cleaning, because we just base it on the square footage of the house, and taking into account, does the furnace service the whole house or just one floor of the house or things like that. So we basically have just tiered pricing based on square footage, and then if there are logistical factors like the furnace being in a crawl space or in the attic or things like that, there's added charges due to the difficulty of accessing, things like that. Um, a really, honestly, a big client for us for dryer vent cleaning is property management companies. We've been finding really good success because, the recommendation is to clean your dryer vent once per year in order to help prevent dryer vent fires. And so a lot of property managers have in their contract that they will get the dryer vent cleaned yearly. So it's a very good, for a company like
Mm,
us, it's a great way to just say, a lot of property managers, their goal, like our goal for them is just to make their job easier. So they just send over tenant info, address, and say, get the dryer vent cleaned by this date. And we get it done. And that's something we've been focusing a lot on, is finding more and more property managers to partner with for that service.
That's a huge part of any home service. How are you getting property managers? What's your strategy there?
Networking. Going to a lot of networking meetings, getting introductions from other property managers. There's an organization called NARPM, National Association of something or other. I always forget what it stands for, but they're a big organization that a lot of property managers use. And so, actually, next month I'll be going to a NARPM meeting with the property manager that I recently met that helps lead those meetings. So I mean, it's funny. Like, I used to be in the music industry years ago, and always in the music industry, people talk about, like, it's not necessarily always how good your music is; it's about who you know. And it's
Right.
just funny how true that is for so many different industries, is meeting the right people. So just not being afraid to get out there and talk to people and ask for introductions and set meetings, and offer to just buy somebody coffee to sit down with you for an hour is really valuable.
Yeah. So so the customer has a 2,000 square foot home, do you base it off of the square footage of the entire home for dryer vent pricing? Is that kind of how you do it?
So sorry, for the air duct cleaning, for
Yeah,
cleaning
air
all the
duct
air
cleaning.
ducts in the home, it would be, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And then
Got
the
it.
dryer vent, we just have a standalone cost. Like, it's our minimum visit charge if that's all we're doing, or we cut that fee in half if we're doing it combined with another service.
Okay. Got it.
So
And so the negative air system, basically what it's doing is you have a compressed air system that's pushing and unlocking all the debris, for example, off of the walls. And then you have the vacuum, which is sucking it all back out into your truck mount. Is that right?
right, so yeah, we've got the people may have seen those huge hoses that get hooked up to the furnace. That goes to our vacuum that's pulling everything out
Mm,
at the furnace. And of course, we put things in place to protect, different parts of the furnace, because we don't want debris getting in there as it comes down.
mhm.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you cut a hole in the plenum on the furnace, hook up your vacuum, that does its thing while you go around to each individual vent and use the compressed air to push all the debris. Well, debris and random stuff that we find, dog toys, and I found a softball one time, and
Oh,
all
wow.
kinds of stuff ends up in there.
Gold coins? No?
Yeah, no, unfortunately not yet. Usually it's usually it's supplies from contractors that don't feel like walking to the trash and they just toss something
Oh,
down the
shoot.
vent while they're working. So,
I could imagine. And, is there a noticeable difference when customers, that's one of the hard things, it's kind of one of those invisible services, right? I
mhm.
mean, you don't see it. So how do you, you mentioned you have a camera, is that how you show to the customer that the work's being done?
Yeah, and sometimes it just depends on, what was, big question for customers is like, why are you hiring us to do this? What is your goal in getting your air ducts cleaned? Is it just because somebody told them like, hey, probably something you should do? Is it because you have, four dogs and three cats and you have all kinds of dander and stuff in your home that you want to clean out? Is it somebody has allergies, asthma? So it kind of just depends, but the camera we utilize a lot to show either a before and after or even a video of watching all that debris come through the duct system. The other part of it too is, we'll talk to them about, maybe part of the reason that your house was smelling musty, seeming stuffy, you were dealing with allergies a lot. We'll pull the filter out. Maybe the filter is just completely caked and hasn't been changed in 5 years. And so we'll talk to them about, not only getting all the physical debris out of there, but getting a good filter in that's new and replacing that regularly. Kind of focusing on those things that they can see, that they can visualize, because of the fact that the cleaning process itself is not, a visual thing like it would be with carpet.
Yeah. Now, talk to me about your marketing strategy. That's something that every home service owner struggles with. How do I
Mhm.
get more customers? So how do you get more customers for your business?
Right. Yeah, I mean, of course, Google, things like that. People finding us online is huge. We're really, really adamant about doing a great job so people leave us a good review online because that goes a long way. But a big thing is kind of like I mentioned with the property management companies, a huge thing for us is just having strategic partnerships with other companies. So one example of that is partnering with other local carpet cleaners that don't have an area rug shop, because there's only a few rug shops in our
Mhm.
area. And so being able to tell them like, hey, I remember before we had a rug shop, I was walking past revenue constantly in customers' homes because they would have a nice high end, wool or silk or, other nice rug that I couldn't clean because I was afraid to ruin it by cleaning it in their house.
Mhm.
So being able to have them bring rugs to us, they can still make something off it, but they don't have to go through the expense of building out a rug shop and all that. So those kind of strategic partnerships. Other ones would be, plumbers that refer us to water mitigation work, restoration companies that, they have floods and there's a rug that they need restored that they, don't know how to service. I mean, there's a ton of just all those strategic partnerships where we can find other companies that, we refer to back and forth or hire each other for, kind of tag teaming jobs. That's been, and another one for us is janitorial companies
Mm.
that don't specialize in carpet or tile or other flooring services like that. We have janitorial companies that will subcontract us or hire us out to take care of the floors for their customers.
Nice. So you do some Google advertising, but you don't rely on paid advertising, is that right?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of it for us is a little bit of an old school mentality in the sense of like, we want to not just meet but exceed our customers' expectations so that they're actually excited to tell somebody like, I can't believe how good these guys did, like, and tell their friends, tell their family, things like that. But not just leaving it open ended of like, well, we'll do a good job, and then I'm sure people will love us enough to refer us, because that's unfortunately just not the way it goes. So having more structure in place for building relationships and specifically on the business end of it, like I was saying, those strategic partnerships.
Yeah. And what about Facebook advertising? Have you done any of that?
I have, but not for a long time. I maybe I'm just not good at it. I didn't have a lot of success with it. I found for us at least that it seemed to be the demographic that we were finding through Facebook was more of the kind of like kicking the tires kind of thing of just like, hey, how much would this cost? Okay, I'm going to go
Mhm.
message 4 other companies and figure out their
Right.
price and hire the cheapest.
Yeah.
Whereas we're very much a company that we're not shy about the fact that we're not the cheapest company, and we'll tell people like if price is your number one factor, you'll find somebody cheaper. But if you're looking for quality and value, you're not going to find anything better.
Mm.
So that's kind of where we last ended on the Facebook thing, and just haven't really revisited it for a couple of years, probably.
I noticed you guys have 300 plus 5-star reviews or 300 plus reviews. That's amazing. Congrats on that, first of all.
Thank you.
And how long did it take you guys to get something like that, to build those up?
Um, yeah, I mean, we started really focusing on reviews, I would say probably about 2017 ish was when it was really like, okay, these are, it's digital word of mouth essentially.
Hmm.
And so these are really important. And one thing that we actually started doing is we give all of our customers a little flyer that tells them that if they leave us a review online, we donate $10 to the local Boys and Girls Club for every
Awesome.
review that we get. So it's kind of something where, everybody does things differently. I don't feel great about straight up just paying people or giving them a discount to give us a review, because that doesn't feel like a genuine review to me. But a little bit of a way around that was, saying, okay, we're not going to pay you to do this, but we'll donate even more than we do to a local charity
Mm.
if you do this for us. So, um, and people get really excited about that. They're like, wow, that's so cool. I haven't seen, people doing that before. And so it's proved to be pretty effective for us.
Yeah, I've never heard of that, but I think that's an amazing strategy because you're not bribing anybody. You're not. It's literally not
Mhm.
what you're doing. What you are doing is providing a little bit of incentive because at the end of the day, we all could use a little bit of incentive to do the things that we know we should be doing anyways.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, for
Great
sure.
idea.
Yeah, and
And
then I
so,
don't I feel okay ethically to be, because we're donating to a charity that's helping local kids. So it's not, I
yeah,
don't feel like, like they have a whole lot to gain, but they're just excited to be like, hey, I'm helping them donate, so I might as well leave a review.
exactly. That's great. And are you using what CRM do you guys use? You use a CRM on your back end?
Yeah, so we're actually right in the middle of switching to a new CRM. So the CRM that we have been using is Jobber. We've had that since 2016, I believe, and that was the first one that we use. And then we're switching to one called Zuper,
Mm,
which is a bit newer one. Jobber's been around for quite a while, and they're kind of one of the bigger ones, along with like House Call Pro and Service Titan and those. Zuper's a bit newer, but it's extremely, extremely customizable. And
mm.
there's all kinds of automations and triggers and stuff you can use. So we're pretty excited about getting started with that.
Interesting. Interesting. Gotta check that out. Super. Thanks for letting us know about that.
Mhm.
So, do you have any Facebook groups that you find really, really valuable in your industry? And what are they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people in our industry are familiar with truck mount forums. The truck mount forums Facebook group is really beneficial. There's other Facebook groups that I'm in, Cleaners Connect. For anybody that has an area rug cleaning shop, there's one called the Rug Room that is beyond invaluable. Um, yeah, the people that run that are so knowledgeable. It's kind of mind blowing. Um, and so they're really helpful with, excuse me, identifying rugs. And there's so many factors that go into cleaning high end rugs that that's a really great group to lean on. And then there's also another one that Damon runs, Pad Life, is another one that focuses a lot on encapsulation and low moisture cleaning.
Do you do much encapsulation, low moisture cleaning, being that you have a truck mount?
We do, yeah. So we primarily do hot water extraction for residential, but we will do encapsulation as well. And then we pretty much strictly do encapsulation for commercial, but we will utilize hot water extraction when needed for that as well. So, yeah, we do a lot of both of them. We run Cymex machines for our encapsulation.
Hmm. And what makes you determine whether a residential job will get the encapsulation or the hot water extraction method?
It's mostly just access. I mean, on hot water, or excuse me, on residential carpet, hot water extraction is the ideal method for that style of carpet. But if it's a high rise in downtown Seattle that we can't reach with a truck mount, we've found a lot better success and just found it to be a lot more efficient to do encapsulation versus a portable hot water extraction machine. And we've had great results. In my opinion, really the only time that we've ever told somebody like we can't really do this with encapsulation is if it's like so soiled to the point of being like a restoration cleaning, like you should probably
Mhm.
just replace this carpet.
Yeah.
Or there's like a really extreme amount of pet accidents. um,
Mhm.
but anything outside of those two, we've had amazing results with encapsulation.
Great. So what are some things you're doing to grow your business over the next year?
Really, strategic partnerships is the huge one. I kind of mentioned how important those are to us, but this year specifically is huge. And then also, we actually coincidentally just had a meeting about this morning. We have our Monday morning team meetings, and we were talking about low hanging fruit and talking about how common it is that we will go into a home to do, say, carpet cleaning, and people don't even know that we do tile cleaning or that we do
Mhm.
upholstery or that these other things. And so being able to just mention those things and have incentives to get a quote for another service while we're there or things like that, is we're really trying to focus on kind of those lower hanging fruits, especially with everybody knows the last few years have been kind of crazy and economy's crazy and all that. So we're trying to not get too caught up in tons of paid advertising this year, but really kind of I guess ground level things, networking, and all the low hanging fruit.
Yeah. How do you manage sales and upsells for a customer? Like you mentioned, you go in for one service and you're constantly trying to get other services as well. So how do you make that happen tactically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, a big thing for us is if this is going back in time a little bit, but if people are familiar with Zig Ziglar,
Hmm.
there was a line that he always said that was "Stop selling, start helping." And so for us, it's huge to not sell somebody something they don't need. And so what we talk about all the time is like people aren't stupid and they can see right through you a lot of times whenever you're kind of, if you pull the kind of used car salesman sales mentality out, is we make it clear to people that if there's something that we notice we can help with, we offer to do that, but we make it very clear that here are the benefits and this is your house. It's totally up to you what we do. For example, if we're there to do carpet cleaning, some of the additional services we might do are like a deodorizer treatment or applying a protector when we're done cleaning. And, a good example is, well, yeah, we want to make more money by selling protector, but if this person is hiring us for a move out clean, we're not going to try to sell them protector because it's a waste of their money. They're going to get no benefit from it. And so just being able to level with the customer and say, here's our recommended, treatments that we do while we're here. We would recommend doing our all natural deodorizer because you have dogs and it's formulated to break down dog dander and, things like that. But it's just being clear with them. Here's our recommendation from a professional standpoint to your house, and you make the call, and we just keep it pretty simple.
Yeah. So you mentioned Zig Ziglar. I'm curious if there are any influencers or people that you follow
Hmm.
that you'd recommend other newbies in the industry follow as well to learn and learn more and up their game, basically.
Definitely. Huge one for me is David Allen. He's the author of Getting Things Done. Productivity system is has completely transformed the way that I work. A couple others would be, I mean, Michael Gerber's The E Myth is basically like, if there was one book that I could tell every entrepreneur to read, it would be The E Myth. I'm in the middle of reading it for like, I don't know, the third or fourth time right now, because it's that good. And a couple others that I follow. One is I can never say his last name, Mikalowicz, I think.
Okay.
He wrote a book called Profit First, which totally transformed how I handle our income and disperse it throughout the company. And lastly would be as far as people, so this would be, a little bit later down the road, maybe not for people just starting out, but people with employees or looking to hire employees, would be Patrick Lencioni. He's written The Ideal Team Player, Death by Meeting, a bunch of really, really good books for how to hire and then how to manage a team once you've hired.
That's great. I'll tell you, I don't recognize a single one of those names, so I think I really need to up my game as
I just
well.
made them all up. So um,
Awesome. So what has been the most challenging thing about running a business so far for you?
I think the most challenging would be also the most important, in my opinion, which is adaptability. I mean, I always tell people, the most important part of running a business or being an entrepreneur is adaptability. Whether that's adapting to a worldwide pandemic, to an economic recession, to living in an area like Seattle that for however many years running was the fastest growing city in the nation. Just adapting to all those factors that you can't control and learning how to fill the needs of your clientele as those needs change over time. I think that's the biggest thing, is not just sticking to like, nope, this is what we do and this is what we're always going to do, but being able to have your niche and your focus, but be flexible enough to meet the needs of your clients.
Yeah. And what are you most proud of and some of your accomplishments are about being a business owner, running a business? What are you proud of so far?
Yeah, I mean, I would say for me, there's a lot of things that are struggles, a lot of milestones in running a business where you say like, man, I'm really proud that I made it to this milestone. But I think, I mean, I've kind of mentioned it a couple times, but getting through a pandemic, I felt like was a pretty big deal. I mean, there was, as all of us know, there was a really rough time there where it was, like, are we even going to survive as a business in this kind of environment? So seeing how many companies shut down due to that, and knowing that we made it through and not just scraped by, but we made it through and moved into our new shop that I'm sitting in right now about a year ago. Um, that was huge for us to be able to not only survive, but grow during a time like that.
Absolutely. What an amazing story. Kyle, thank you very much for taking your time today. It's been educational. We've learned a lot, and sharing your story with other entrepreneurs and other carpet cleaners and other cleaners in general is really one of the best things I think we can do to give back to the community. And I
Mhm.
certainly learned a lot from it. So I want to thank you very much for your time, Kyle.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate you
and
having me.
see you on the other side. We'll keep in touch, okay?
All right. Sounds good.
All right, Kyle, thank you very much. Take care.
Bye.